run, and on this particular control map we are going to the beautiful Oasis. A lot of times, depending on the stage, you're going to run something entirely different. University plays entirely different than Gardens, and even City Center's got its own quirks. So while we start here on University, I believe, I don't think you're going to see as much Pharah, but I'd be a little surprised if you don't see at least someone toying with Pharah on the next couple stages.
No, we've seen, I mean, hell, we've seen some interesting picks coming out on this map in the preseason with Moira even making an appearance, but here we go, already a bit of a change of strategy.
This is a really cool comp from the Florida Mayhem. The idea is to put down the shield, hook people in, and then delete them. That's exactly what they do. Manitin takes Prophet out of the mix. That is a huge first hook.
Oh man, they aren't getting any cap yet because the point isn't open just yet. You can see it at the top of the screen. It's ticking down in 5 seconds. Mayhem will be able to take advantage of that first pick, but by then Prophet will be back in the fight. It does help that they do manage to get rid of Bird Ring though.
Bird Ring. Yeah, he should have stayed out of that because they could have just come and re-attacked the point. They were unable to do so. Another part of this Mayhem composition is that Orisa can use her halt to pull them dead center. It's almost a guaranteed hook for Manitin.
Yeah, that's such a disgusting combo when you see it, and you love it because the pros, they've got the communication, they've got the practice to make that work. Just want to see that happen in matchmaking one of these days. I swear, cross my fingers, it'll happen one day. But that halt hook combo, it's brutal, and now you've got Tvik laying in with a Junkrat as well. He's more than happy to sit behind the shield and just keep chucking nades out left and right.
This is what's often referred to as the anti-dive composition because you can't really dive on with your tanks because Manitin's going to be there to delete tanks, Tvik is there to delete flankers, and Logic's there as well. The composition has to switch from the Spitfire, and they do just that.
Yeah, that's where we're going to start seeing a bit of a shift. They've got a Roadhog. Bird Ring was sitting on McCree for a little bit there, but he decides to change it up. And we've got Gesture on the Reinhardt. This is a big one. Do you agree with the decision to have Reinhardt out here on the control?
Yeah, Rein Zarya is actually okay. You have to get in there pretty quick, though, because those shields are going to be burned down rather fast with an Orisa and a Junkrat and a Roadhog on the other side. So you have to get in.
There. You're right. You have to get in.
Yeah.
It's not that way, Gesture. It's not like that. Nuts has to use his Resurrect immediately, and that's putting a little bit of pressure on here. But you still have Tvik alive. He can still turn it around here, even though the second res comes in. That's Gesture getting brought back up. So you have Reinhardt back in the mix with his barrier, but the Trance getting used. There's a lot of ultimates going down right now. Big thing here is that Logic, he still has the Deadeye to use.
Well, Logic's going to be on his third life now as Zevo has brought him to life twice. They know that Deadeye could be a factor in the coming fight. A huge hook and hog on hog right there as Manitin will fall. Still, all this time, Mayhem has been in control of the points. They're nearing 90%.
Yeah, this is fantastic. They hold again. Mayhem really putting up a fight here, and Logic still has the Deadeye, and so this is really going to put a little bit of pressure here on Gesture. He's going to have to be very sharp about the barrier, can't drop it, otherwise Logic could potentially take advantage of that.
Their best bet is to get Fury in here and get a Graviton going. There's going to be nothing to really stop it except for shields. The grab does come in. Where's the follow through? It is right there. London Spitfire take down 3 in quick order.
Yeah, and what's important is they take down the Mercy. No healing throughput, and they will be able to turn this around in the nick of time. 99% picked up for Florida Mayhem to start things off, and they know now they have some time. They can be patient. All they need is one last percent. They need one good team fight, and you've got the Riptire for Tvik to kind of facilitate that. If you can get them grouped up, boom, you can drop the trap.
It's possible. Florida also might be going for a strategy in which you just continue to fight and hope the other team burns out ultimates. They know they're in a bad position, but as you mentioned, they only need one more fight. The Earth Shatter comes out on the other side of things. That is a one fight in and of itself. So the last 2 fights London has taken, they've used one ultimate and gotten full team kills.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's some great ult management coming in from Spitfire. That is a money Earth Shatter. When you can only just invest the one, that is perfect. Fury's still working on getting that Graviton going for himself, though, but he'll have a little bit of time to make it happen here. We'll get the replay of that, and exactly from Gesture's perspective as well. I absolutely love our observers never missing any of the action. And that is a perfect flank. Look at that Earth Shatter. They don't know what hit them. Florida, they were never expecting that.
Flag Shatter comes in. Here comes a Tire. It's looking for a little bit more, but Zavo's the one who takes the brunt of that. Meanwhile, Spitfire have used their own Valkyrie, bringing people back to life.
Yeah, holding on to it as best they can. There is a challenge at Florida Mayhem. They might take over. Are they aware of this? Yeah, London managed to get back on the point just in the nick of time. Fury dancing on the edge and just zapping people left and right. All the kills for Fury. He is greedy right now.
They have measured out their ultimate usage so deftly. The London Spitfire, the next fight, they will be able to have Graviton back up. We're back to square one. Grav will be up. If they win that fight, then probably a Shatter up. There's also going to be a Transcend should they so need it. So they've done an excellent job of managing their economy when it comes to ultimate abilities.
Looks like a little bit of a stuttering start there for the Spitfire, but they let the engine, you know, warm up a little bit, right? You got to do that with those older Spitfires. You know, they're not like today's modern jets, but they've got the firepower. There's sexy plane in London right now. They are going to work. They are holding. Fury dancing on the side. That's what we saw earlier, but he's got the Graviton locked and loaded and ready, and he is at full charge. The amount of damage this guy could do would be massive, but they're not going to let him. Florida, they hunt him down, and so he doesn't get everything out of that Graviton.
He went for the fadeaway grab because the Diva was right in his face. He did not want to get it gobbled up by her defensive matrix, which would be an end to that fight. Still going back and forth between these two teams. That is a huge tire from Prophet. He has been soloing out that Mercy. They take control back to Florida.
Oh, they keep tapping it to London. This is getting desperate. Management just barely manages to get the reback going, and he even dodges the hook. Berging desperate to hang in there, but it's not going to happen. And this is looking good here for Mayhem. Can they keep things going? Well, Nuss has got the foul. He is going to be able to res his teammates, and it looks like London Spitfire will be able to take control once again. Swoosh trying to buy time, but it's just not meant to be.
Florida getting desperate, trying to throw as many bodies on the point. They've changed heroes just to get back here. Zebo on the Moira for that instance. And London pulls it back from the brink.
Unbelievable. You can see how happy the players are. That is tense. That's what Control is all about. Down to the wire. And that is awesome to see. So we've got a real match on our hands here, Hex. This is fantastic.
Great adjustment from London to recognize that composition early that looked like it was going to be so daunting. The Hog and Orisa. You know what's great against that is you get a Zarya in the mix. He was at 90% charge. Of course, all the damage you take on your shields gives you more on that weapon. And then when your Reinhardt shield cracks, you just throw him a Zarya shield, and now you're sitting at 90%. You're getting grabs, you're getting shatters, and they've got nothing to stop it.
I love it. We see Prophet there. You know, he's wiping his face. He's like, man, I just can't see through all these tears that keep get him off, get him off. Nah, this guy is sick. Prophet, man. I mean, you really got to give it to Prophet. With those Rip Tires, he was just focusing down that Mercy. That was 2 Rip Tire kills on Mercy that he managed to pick up, and I think that was a big difference maker there for Spitfire. Prophet, once again, delivering.
Zebo had no chance there. Already some good positioning here from London, taking the high ground away. Florida Mayhem trying the same kind of pick composition. They will take the low ground. Now
Prophet just kind of dancing around. We're keeping an eye on him right now, and he is going to be the one who's getting be able to poke up here and make sure that Florida can't get too comfortable. That calls Fury in. He's got to be careful about getting DMX, but he does get around the corner just in time, and I'm pretty sure Nuss will be there to heal him back up. Nuss getting very close to Valve, already up to 75%. That is bonkers.
Prophet's got to get out of there. Nuss is going to bring Gesture back up. That is the first blood of this fight so far. It's both teams still posturing, trying to figure out what positions they want to be in, but you don't want to sit around too long and let a pulse bomb come up because that can wreck this static composition.
This is going to make all the difference. Nuss, he was so fast at getting the Valve, but he does get picked. Logic's with the Deadeye, picks him out of the sky, and now Zebasai is the one with the Valve. He'll be able to bring his teammates back up, and things are going to get dicey. What looks promising for Spitfire has been turned around completely by Florida Mayhem with some excellent play.
One of the reasons you see the resurgence of Widowmaker and to a lesser degree McCree is because they have the burst damage to be able to deal with the Valkyrie ultimate. Especially when you get Deadeye, there's nowhere to run from it. You see Deadeyes in pure response to Valkyries all the time, and it's a great one.
Yeah, oh, wow, and exactly, he hits the timing perfectly. Just as the tanks move off the high ground and try and take the fight on the low, that's all the opening that Logic needs. You can't give him that kind of opportunity.
A great sense from Logic. He knocks that Valkyrie out of the sky, and in turn, Florida gets more value out of their ultimate.
This is sick. Such a close. There we go. Supercharger. The bongos are down. Fix has been caught by Prophet, and already London Spitfire just going to work. They are looking to take control of this point, and they will. Oh, will it? Yes, they will. Just barely, and there it is. Get out. We don't want you here, Management.
Off into the waters of Oasis. London has taken the point back. Jake's looking for it here.
Those waters look pretty warm, though. I'd actually be pretty fine with that. They're going for a little swim, little dip. Can't be feeling too bad about that, man. And then he'll get back to work. It's fine. Logic's what's not fine is this guy just can't seem to miss.
He's been ultra impressive today because everyone knows how good his Tracer is. That's where he made his bones, and he's been a great Tracer. But in this situation, he played a good 76 on Dorado, and this McCree is on fire.
Yeah, he is doing massive work right now. A real threat on the high ground. He's got Vic there to back him up. And they're just going to change up the positioning here. Florida Mayhem ticking steadily higher, up to the 40% now pretty much. And so this is just going to start putting a little bit of pressure here on London Spitfire, and I'm curious to see how they decide to adjust here. We do have that Tracer, but Prophet's been on the Tracer for a while.
He's got the Deadeye ready too, so if Nuss even gets in here to Valkyrie, which Logix seems like he wants to shut down anyway, it's not going to happen. They are going to resurrect Gesture. But still, now they're going to have to pop it. Beautiful timing, actually. They take out the McCree, then they pop the Valkyrie, knowing that now the Mercy is safe in the sky.
Yeah, some great focus fire there from Spitfire, making sure that Logix couldn't get the value out of his Deadeye, and they are getting shredded right now. Birdring styling on Zupe in the end, and they will get control of the point. But you got to give it the priority. The calls really coming in from Spitfire. Their communication is on point. Logix just didn't have any room to breathe there, despite having a bit of a tough start in the fight, getting hooked in.
It's recognizing the problem. The problem is that Logix is killing everyone. I mean, it's in the most simplistic of terms. So
that's who you're asking, you know, if that's a problem or not. I don't know. Mayhem might be.
For London, it was a problem. So the answer to that problem is throw everything that you have at the Cowboy up there, please. It seemed to work out for him.
It's Vic getting tops back up again. He's going to be looking to get those nades into play, of course. And while we do have the Primal Rage here for Gesture, and it looks like he wants to commit to it, he's going to use it immediately. Zupe there to counter with the Transcendence. Will he be able to find the kill on Zebasai? That would be big. Gesture's doing the best that he can here to stay alive and draw attention to himself.
Trying to combo in the corner, but the Mercy was able to slick her way out of there. Another tire comes in, still back and forth, but right now, London fine to be trading in this situation. They're in control.
He finally has to take matters into his own hands. Turns out tickling some death wasn't working. You had to beat him a little bit too. But it will be Florida Mayhem eventually winning that fight despite Gesture's best efforts at staying alive, at getting the cleave in there, trying to focus the back line. It just wasn't happening. Great positioning from Zebasai meant that he could keep his teammates alive. And now we see a change coming out here from London Spitfire. What do you think about this play, swapping over to Anna on Dosun?
I think it's a little bit interesting. It might be to put some distance pressure on, because right now they've been having to dive Logix. They've been having to dive to get to the high ground. But if you can anti-heal up here before your tanks can get up there, they can do a lot more damage.
Oh, sick play. It's big. Takes advantage of the trap. Prophet not going to have any say in this fight. We're starting to run a little bit out of time here. You can start hearing it, that audio cue that we're into the last 10% on the point. And Florida Mayhem right now, they are looking very solid indeed. 5% left. They're running out of time. Spitfire, they're going to be able to get in here to touch the point. You do see Gesture right around the corner, but he's already getting lit up by Logix.
They have to get in here, but if they can get their Valkyrie up, Nuss does pop it preemptively, as does Zebo on the other side of things. Logix is going to be looking for that Mercy. He has to back out, but leaves the other support right for the picket.
And there we go. Birdring finally able to take down Logix, but Zebasai is there to get the res, and it's all for naught. Mercy making it happen for a team, although as I say that, London Spitfire, they are getting quite a few kills here. Despite the best efforts of Zebasai, while he's got the wings going, he is not making enough of a difference here, and his team are getting overwhelmed. London Spitfire may be able to turn this at the last second.
Prophet dealt with swoosh, but it was Birdring up top who deflected a flashbang into the McCree. It bought him the valuable time and life he needed to come back a second time and take down the opposing Mercy. Florida, knowing that there's one last fight in the books and they're not going to have a Valkyrie, will switch Zebo onto the Lucio to get here faster.
Exactly right. You don't want to waste a second here. You need to get on this point and start challenging it. Logix needs to find some openings here as well. He was great on the McCree. Now he's on the Tracer. Already putting quite a bit of pressure here on Mercy, forcing them back. But Nuss, too quick, manages to dodge out of the way. And now it's all about who's going to be coming out ahead on the kills, and Prophet already finding a kill on Maniton. That is going to start things off very strong here for London Spitfire.
Well, but now both their DPS are down, and I don't think there's a resurrection available for either of them, but it's going to be up to the tanks to keep alive. Here comes a Moira Coalescence coming out to keep everyone alive and do some damage to it. Resurrection does come online to bring Prophet into it, and just too many bodies right now for Florida to deal with.
And they will turn it in the end. Unbelievable. London are just too good right now. Never saying die, able to keep it together long enough, and very quick with the roster changes in the end. The Moira, I think that was a fascinating one to try and pull that out at the very bitter end.
Great responses from that team overall, and I think